us start with today's topic. Now in this cell cycle, at the end of this lesson we will be learning that what is a cell cycle and what are the main important phases of a cell cycle. So let us come quickly to the introduction of cell cycle. So what is there in the next video? Let us see. Now here we come up with the definition of cell cycle. So what is a cell cycle? It is a series of events which lead to an increase in the mass and cytoplasmic contents of the cell, duplication of DNA, and then division of nucleus and cytoplasm of the cell, and finally forming two daughter cells. So what is happening? It is also a series of events which forms the increase of the mass of cytoplasm of the cell, DNA duplication happens, cell division happens, and the cytoplasm of the cell finally forms into two daughter cells. So it is also from the birth to the reproduction, there is a sequence or series of events that are happening within the cell. So those events are called cell cycle. So here if you see my pointer, you will see there are several phases of cell cycle. So G1, S, G2, M and G0. These are the main phases of cell cycle, and during each and individual phase there are several events which are happening. Suppose in G1 phase, growth for the preparation of DNA synthesis preparation is happening. S phase, DNA replication is happening. G2 phase, it is preparing for the mitosis. And in M phase, all the phases of mitosis which we have studied in the previous video. Those who have not studied my mitosis video, I am putting the link over here. Please go to it and please study the 4 phases of mitosis so that you will get clear about this cell cycle. So let us move on to the 2 important phases of cell cycle in a eukaryotic cell. Now in eukaryotic cells, the cell cycle has 2 major phases. So during interphase, what is happening? The cell grows and makes the copy of its DNA, and during mitotic phase or mitosis or the M phase, the cell separates its DNA into 2 sets and divides its cytoplasm, forming 2 new cells, which we have seen already in mitosis. So I am telling again and again, if you have not gone through my mitosis video, you won't be getting this cell cycle, phases of cell cycle. So please go through it. I am putting the link here above. So if you click this I link here, you will go to my mitosis video and go through it, and then only you will get this cell cycle. So 2 important phases are here, interphase and mitotic phase. So let us see what is happening in this interphase as well as in this mitotic phase. Now this is the first phase of cell cycle, interphase. So what is happening during this phase? So we should know that during this interphase, the cell is preparing itself for the cell division. Now this is the longest phase of cell cycle, and it is again divided into 3 sub-phases. The G1 phase, the S phase and the G2 phase. Now we can see here the G1, the S phase and the G2 phase as discussed in the diagram. So there is also a G0 phase, which is, it should be here before the G1 phase starts. So what happens here? The cell is resting in this phase and the cell has stopped dividing and it has left the cell cycle. So see my pointer here, before the first growth phase start. In this phase, G0 phase, it has stopped dividing and it has left the cell cycle. Now what is G1 phase? Let us concentrate on that G1 phase. Now in this phase, the RNA and the protein starts synthesizing. The cell sizes starts increasing as the volume of cytoplasm is almost double. Mitochondria in plant and animal cells both, and the chloroplast divide. And the cell here, it becomes ready for DNA synthesis. And now the cell enters after growing its volume, after the RNA and proteins are synthesized, After the cell increases in size and it is ready for DNA synthesis, it enters the synthesis phase or the S phase. Now here the DNA replication starts, and the DNA is synthesized and chromosomes are duplicated during this phase, but they remain attached. They are not detached from each other. They are attached and DNA replication starts in this phase. Now then comes the G2 phase, and in this phase it is called the gap phase after DNA replication because it is a very short phase where the RNA and the necessary proteins which are necessary for the cell division, they are continuing to be synthesized. What is happening here? Very short phase where the proteins and the RNA which are actually necessary for the cell division are still now synthesized here, and the cell becomes ready for the next cell division. Now it comes to the M phase or the mitosis. So then comes the mitosis phase. Now this we will discuss in the next slide. Now is it clear for everyone? I am again and again telling you, if you are having any doubts, please do comment and write in my comment box. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel so that the continuation of all these videos, you will get the updates. And like and share my videos so that all your friends can get the benefit of my videos. Now let us move to the next phase or the mitosis phase or the M phase. Now here comes the M phase or the mitosis phase. So what is happening in this phase? Here the cell growth actually stops, and the interphase alternates the mitotic phase or the M phase. Now during this, what is happening? The cell divides and its copied nuclear DNA and cytoplasm to form two new cells. Now in M phase is further divided into two phases. One is mitosis and another one is cytokinesis, where the cell cytoplasm is divided into two new cells. So it is divided, this M phase is divided into mitosis and cytokinesis. Now in this mitosis, we can say that it is divided into first part mitosis, second part is cytokinesis, where it is divided, the cytoplasm is divided into two to form new cells. Now in mitosis, what is happening? In the previous video, if you have learnt, you should know what is happening. Then also I am telling in gist what is happening here. The nuclear DNA of the cell condenses into visible chromosomes and is pulled apart by the mitotic spindle, a specialized structure which is made out of the microtubules, and mitosis takes place in 4 different stages. And sometimes we have divided this prophase into prophase and prometaphase. 2 phases here we have divided, then metaphase, then comes anaphase, and then comes telophase. Now if you want to learn more of mitosis, I am telling you again and again, go to my previous video and please do learn mitosis there. Now what is happening in cytokinesis? The cytoplasm of the cell is splitting into 2 and making 2 new cells. Now cytokinesis usually begins just as mitosis is ending. So at the ending of mitosis, the cytokinesis is beginning with a little overlap. Now here the cell cytoplasm is dividing and 2 new cells are formed. Now this cell cycle, we can say, is not an endless process. It is not going on endlessly. It stops permanently at some point of time. So what is that time? That time differs from different cell to cell. So one cell type to other cell type, it depends on the cell type. So few cells we can say, like nerve cells in our brain, they are formed at the time when we are embryo and they do not divide further. Now next comes the blood cells, which are replaced in 2 to 3 million each second. So they are replacing the worn out cells. Next comes the skin cells, which are also being replaced. And I have taken another example of liver cells, so which are being replaced in every 1 to 2 years. So the damaged cells are replaced in every 1 to 2 years to form a new cell. So this is all about the M phase of mitosis, and I think you are quite clear with the diagram as well as with the what is happening in the M phase and the interphase. So let us now do a quick summary of what is a cell cycle. Now here comes the summary of cell cycle. So what all we have studied in the previous slide, it is a quick sum up of all the points. Now G0 phase or the resting phase, what is happening there? The cell has stopped dividing and it has already left the cell cycle. Next comes the interphase, the G1 phase or the gap 1 phase. So what is happening here? RNA or protein synthesis is happening. Cell size increases. There is an increase in the volume of cytoplasm and the mitochondria and the chloroplasts start dividing. Next to that comes the second phase of interphase, which is the synthesis phase. Here what is happening? The DNA replication occurs. Chromosomes are duplicated but remain attached. Now in the next slide we will come to the third phase, what is the G2 phase of interphase. Here comes the G2 phase or the second growth phase of interphase. It is a gap between the DNA synthesis and the mitosis. Cell continues to grow in this phase and more of RNA and proteins are synthesized. So we have told in the previous slides that those proteins which are being required in cell division are being produced in this G2 or gap 2 phase, and which is literally a very short phase. So this is the G2 phase. Now next comes the cell division or the mitosis phase. Now here we know this mitosis phase in the previous video. Again I am telling, if you have not gone through this video, please go through it. So what is happening there? The cell growth stops. Nuclear division takes place and it is followed by a cytoplasmic division, so which is called cytokinesis. So after this mitosis, there is a phase which is a bit overlapping, which is the cytokinesis, where the cytoplasmic division occurs and the cell is divided into two daughter cells. So till now I think it is quite clear for everyone that what is a cell cycle and what are the phases of cell cycle. Still, if it is not clear to you, please go to study my mitosis, that slide. You will get it clear, and read the textbook again and again. Go through my video again and again, so that more you go through it, you will grasp all the things which are present in the video which I have discussed. And please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, so that whatever I am putting next, you will get the updates. And please do like and share for your friends and well-wishers. So as of now, cell division and cell cycle part is completed. So more in the next videos. Thank you.